I was invited to Skydance's LA office to try this. I went with Wes from Virtual Strangers and Eric Masher from Q2C VR Gamer. So I did spend some time really thinking about this, and I think the reason why Behemoth is one that I just got behind so much is like the mechanics. Like the mechanics of this game, I think that's what sold it for me. So let me explain. It's not that fun to just hack and slash, like that's not my thing. But with Behemoth, there was just such a complex amount of mechanics. So one, you obviously have your standard sword, and then I think there was an axe at one point that I had. There's also a bow and arrow. I mean, none of this is like surprising, but you also have a grappling hook and a shield, and it's the combination of all of these things that made this so much fun. So for example, with the grappling hook, you could actually grapple an enemy and pull them off of a ledge or whatever, and then also like attack them with the other arm if you get them close enough to you. Okay, with your shield, you can physically see your shield deteriorating as it gets attacked. Like it just starts breaking apart into pieces. So you can see when your shield is useless because it just is this tiny, it comes from this big thing to like this tiny thing. Oh, I don't know. When I used my axe, I think, yeah, when I used like my axe this one time on an enemy, I hit the enemy in the face, and the mark that I hit the enemy in the face like stayed on the face. Like you can see where I slashed it. It was just, it was crazy. And okay, like I'm not a hack and slash gore type of person, but something about being able to see the marks that you just made, and also what the Skydance people call dynamic severing, which is when the enemies, when you attack them, like they can be sliced into different pieces depending on, you know, how you hit them, and there's physics on them, like the parts will fly. And gosh, I'm trying to think why this is so exciting and interesting, and I guess it's because it just feels so not realistic, like I'm really slashing someone, but it really feels like I am doing something. Like my input into the enemy or whatever I'm attacking is really me doing it, not just some like blanket animation that's happening for everyone that hits it, no matter how they hit it. The grappling hook, by the way, was so wild. Like you could do all these crazy maneuvers on it. Like I said, you can like latch onto an enemy, you can use it to draw a bridge down, you can use it to like grapple down like canyons, but you can also use it to like help you climb up things while still wielding your shield, your sword in the other hand. And like I guess I feel like a lot of VR games now, they are a bit shy, for lack of a better term, with VR mechanics. Like, you know, it's always like trying to, I don't know, babysit, I guess, the beginner players, just making sure that more people can feel comfortable in VR. But like Behemoth was like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. We are making a game for gamers, for VR gamers, and like all out on the mechanics, like no holding back. We're going for it, and I loved it. I think it was great. Like, of course, it's going to be a little bit more complicated for new VR players, but like, it was just so good to feel like they really made use of the full suite of what you can do in VR. Also, by the way, my favorite mechanic in this was actually the dash. So the dash you just use to be able to dodge, but like I've always played like thief characters, assassin characters, and I was able to use the dash feature in Behemoth to really like maneuver around the enemies, and you can use the grappling hook to kind of use verticality to your advantage while still attacking. Like, so freaking good. Okay, and that's just one part. That is just one part, which is the mechanics. I guess I'll go a little bit more into the dynamic severing because this was such a big deal. I mean, I already kind of talked about it, but I guess I just want to reiterate that, like, how did they do this? Like, how were they able? I don't like, I work in games now, like, you know, with Flat to VR Studios, we are porting flat games to VR, and that's not easy. What they did to be able to like have the marks that you put on the enemy to show, and what they did to like have the physics on the different body parts depending on how you like dismember it. That's not easy, and it was very, very impressive. Okay, so we got to talk a little bit about the environment as well. Like, this gave me major like Game of Thrones vibes. Like if you were in the north getting ready to meet some White Walkers, like very Game of Thrones-esque vibes, which I liked. So I remember there was one part in the game where you can collect like different herbs and stuff, and then you would go to the healer and you'd be able to like make different potions. Oh, that was the other thing that was cool. So you could make potions and you put them in your belt, and while you're fighting, like literally while I was fighting some of the enemies, I have like a sword in one hand trying to like keep them at arm's distance while I'm grabbing onto my potion with my other hand, and I'm like trying to chug this health potion while like trying to fend off the oncoming enemies. But anyway, so there's little like herbs that you can pick up and you can create potions with them. But I remember there was one herb like randomly in the corner of after you climb this like mountain, and I remember Sean, who I think is the producer for the game or the creative director, he said that they had purposely placed that herb there because they want you to go there and pick it up so you can appreciate the landscape. Like literally they spent time making sure that you had lookouts in this game so you can appreciate I mean, and it was very grand, beautiful. Of course, Skydance is like a movie company, and they really put the movie into this game. So another aspect of this is like the enemies themselves. They said that they made the demo a bit easier just to make it more friendly to more players, which I personally appreciated because I was able to get through it and enjoy it. They did also say that they'll have different difficulty levels. So I will, for example, probably play it on story mode where there's like minimal enemies because I want to be able to enjoy it and not be too stressed out. Yeah, so the game is called Behemoth because there's these like giant behemoths that you have to play against, and I am not allowed to talk about how to defeat them based on my NDA, but I will say that the battle against the behemoth, oh my goodness, these things are huge. Actually, they said that there's like a lot of them in the story, and the one that we got to fight in the demo was the smallest one, and it's massive. Like the perspective and the scale of like fighting against this beast, and really like it's nuts. It's like I'm having flashbacks in my mind of like, you know, me trying to run around, but then him like stomping all over me, and I just, it's wild. I don't know really how else to explain it, but yeah, this game is really, really, I mean, the demo that I played is really good, and I do think that this is, and I am hopeful that this demo is representative of like the actual game, because after I finished the demo, I was so sad. I still wanted to keep playing it for days after. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I was just like, oh, when is this game gonna come out? Like, that's not normal for me. So I think that really says something about this game. Now, something kind of like funny and random. So when we played this demo at Skydance's office, it was in like a conference room, and obviously like I think Eric went first, and then Wes, and then me. And there was about 5 people in that conference room at any given point. But when I was playing, I mean, if you guys have seen my live streams, you know how animated and really into my gameplays I get. But when I was playing, I mean, like, I guess everyone was cracking up, and Eric told me that like people just kept like filing into the room, and at one point there was like close to like 15 people in there. I don't know if they just heard me or if they just saw people all coming in there, or if they like started texting each other and was like, come watch this. But I guess they really enjoyed my gameplay, so I will plan to stream this whenever this comes out and show you all how much fun it is and how much I really enjoy it. But also, this is my official ask. We should all just tag Skydance and tell them to put me in the trailer, because I think if you just record me playing this, I feel like it would be such a good trailer. Like, I would sell this game because I really had so much fun, and I'm very excited. It makes me really hopeful that other studios will follow suit. And just, you know, I love, as much as I love mixed reality, we definitely need more of these fully fleshed out immersive games that will, and I think that this is the kind of stuff that will bring the more hardcore gamers into the space, whereas like mixed reality will bring more of the casual audience, and we need both to bring everybody in. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe, and we'll chat more in future videos, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter and all those things too. Okay, I will see you next time. Goodbye.